everybody to Hit the Ropes podcast with your girl Delores and your good brother J News. J News, do you got something to say to these good people?
I always got something to say. First of all, salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is another Sunday night here across the East Coast. I would say, right? Because we're on the East Coast. It's Sunday night East Coast. We are here on the Hit the Ropes podcast. Dolores and I will be covering the week that was in professional wrestling. So thank you for coming on by and hearing us and watching us do the damn thing as we go along the week that was in pro wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are subscribed to me and the good brother J News, you are seeing both of us on each other's channel now. So hi J News people. So because J News gotta get his shine, he gotta show the people what he do over there, okay? Because we hit the podcast everywhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not subscribed to J News, listen, you are very much missing out. Very much missing out. And so for that, I am going to send you right now to J News' podcast by dropping his link over on his channel and my channel so you all can get all the good things that happened with J News. Okay? So this week, we got a little bit of lot. It's a lot on me because, I'm definitely the English speaking person here. Okay? Barely. Okay? And we got a spotlight. So make sure you tune in for that. But ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the Hit the Ropes podcast review. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with the good people at the WWE. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw that happened on the 23rd. These are the matches that happened. Now scrolling at the bottom. You had Sami Zayn defeat Ludwig Kaiser. Dragon Lee along with Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Zelina Vega on his side defeated Carlito, who had Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough on his side. Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane defeated the unholy union of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. American Made, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, along with Chad Gable and Ivy Nile in their corner, defeated the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And in the match of the night, the WWE Intercontinental title match, Jey Uso defeated Braun Breaker in a title change. J News, did you see any of this?
Did I? I did see the majority of what went down on Monday night. I would say that probably the most emotional moment of the night was the big win for main event Jey Uso. That was I don't necessarily think I was expecting that, to be honest, just because of how they were building up Braun Breaker. But for all intents and purposes, for whatever storyline stuff they might have coming down the pike, they thought it best to give the Intercontinental Championship to the Usos. So I can appreciate that, him going out in the crowd and celebrating and things of that nature. So that was pretty cool to see. All the different storyline development stuff that they always touch on as Raw and SmackDown always do. They continue to do that across the board. It was a solid show. Nothing too spectacular outside of Jey Uso's win, but big props to them. And I really want to also see as to where the New Day storyline is going, because this whole thing with Xavier Woods and Kofi and this breeding of the dissension, I'm just not a fan of it. But we'll see where the story goes, and hopefully it's somewhere that has some depth to it. So that's all I got for Monday night. You're muted, Dolores. You're muted.
Me and his mute button, we fight each other. We go to bed. We don't go together real bad at all. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the show of NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, NXT came the following night on the 24th. And these are the matches that were scrolling, ticking at the bottom. It was for the WWE NXT Women's North American title, Kalani Jordan defeating Ren Sinclair with Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavian Heights in her corner. Hank and Tank of Hank Waller and Tank Ledger defeated the OC, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. Ora Mensa, along with Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend in his corner, defeated Lexis King. Rosemary and Wendy Chu defeated Brinley Reese and Carmen Petrovic. Sorry. And last but not least, A-Town Down. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller defeated Cedric Alexander and Javion Evans. Listen, Javon Evans, sorry. This, for me, if you all don't know, this is the last set of shows that will happen on the USA Network. They will be moving. Hey, Tori's Brain. Hey, Salon Diva. These will be the last set of matches that will be happening on the USA Network. They will be changing over next week to CW. So we're going to have Punk there. We're going to have everybody there. So we're going to see how this goes. So again, that was NXT. So J News, did you see any of NXT? You muted. See, you find the mute button this time. It's not me.
I didn't even notice that. So what I caught from NXT was what popped to me from NXT. The Roxanne Perez Julia segment where they had Stephanie Vaquer appear on the screen, that popped to me. They finally debuted Stephanie on screen, so that was big. I like the pairing of Javon Evans with Cedric Alexander. It's just as a fan of Cedric Alexander for as long as I have been, you can't knock anybody for doing whatever they want to do with their careers. I just felt like something greater would have come up by now for Cedric Alexander. But him being Javon Evans' mentor and things of that nature is not a bad look. So we'll see where that goes. They're still trying to cause some friction with Fraxium. So we'll see where that goes. And the TNA collaboration and partnership has been a good thing both for NXT and TNA. So I hope it continues the way that it has. And we'll see what happens when it finally lands on the CW. So it was solid. So those are my thoughts on NXT for the week.
Yeah, I thought they kind of like softballed it because they about to get out of here. So I can appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is SmackDown. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know you like the look. They look like Smack sound. That's how they did it. That's their logo. I'm very proud. Listen, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, I'm a hood girl. This is appealing to me when you ain't got y'all on the list. But ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown was on the 27th. That's Friday. Again, they are on the USA Network. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the matches scrolling at the bottom on the 27th. We only had 4 matches. We had a lot of segments, but 4 matches. WWE Women's Title #1 contendership match. Bayley defeated Naomi in the best of 7 series match number 6. Carmelo Hayes defeated Andrade, which tied them for 3-3. Michin defeated Piper Niven, who was accompanied by Chelsea Green. And Last but not least, the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sokoa defeated Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. J News, do you have any thoughts about this?
SmackDown, not so much, if I'm being honest. I know that they're trying to craft and create this feud between Andrade and LA Knight now because they had their United States Championship match, I think, last week or whatever, and then Carmelo Hayes got involved somehow, and so they went to this match number 6 this week between Hayes and Andrade or whatever the case is. So we'll see where all that goes. The Chelsea Green and Meechin um, feud is cool for the ladies for there to be a non-title women's feud on TV, so I can appreciate that. So Meechin getting that win over Piper Niven was cool. So we'll see how that what is it dumpster match goes next week.
Yeah.
uh,
We'll do
on
a preview of Bad Blood in the show when we get to the previews because that is on the 5th. Like we talked about before on the show, we'll do from Sunday to Sunday, and any show that is on Sunday nights, we will preview for the following week. So we have some things to talk about. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is AEW. AEW. We're going to start with AEW's Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen. It was on the 25th. These are the matches scrolling across the bottom. We had a non-title match. Bryan Danielson defeated Nigel McGuinness. An FTW titles rules match. Hook, the champion, defeated Roderick Strong, along with who were accompanied by Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. For the AEW World Tag Team title match, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, defeated Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. And the AEW Women's World Title match, Mariah May kept her championship, defeating Yuka Sakazaki. And in the AEW World Title #1 contendership match, Jon Moxley, along with Marina Shafir, defeated Darby Allin. J News, you have any thoughts about this? Did you see it?
I didn't watch it on TV. I was there.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. I was like, did you see it? Yeah, you saw it, buddy. You was there.
I was there, man. It was quite the experience to be there at Grand Slam. I've been to every Grand Slam since AEW started the event those 4 years ago, and this one I would say in person was probably the most fun me and the crew had at a Grand Slam. That's saying something. It could have been because we had floor seats, maybe, but at the end of the day, I would say we enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed the matches. There were some peaks and there were some valleys throughout the show because we sat through. We got there for Dynamite and we got through Collision, but an hour before Dynamite started, they aired or they recorded some ROH matches and things of that nature. So we didn't catch all that stuff. But for all intents and purposes, for what happened on the show for Dynamite, I think the sense of whatever Tony thought he was trying to make out of this whole Jon Moxley thing with Bryan Danielson and Darby Allin, it just there's no sense to it at this point, right? Like I understood the faction separation part. Moxley wanting to be more vicious and violent and taking AEW in a specific direction. That's a specific story point.
But we still haven't even gotten why Marina all of a sudden is just attached to this.
So you
wouldn't expect her to be attached to her husband's group.
You're the second person to say that to me in the last week, and I said to True Heel Johnny. I said to Johnny, he was like, "Yo, but she's been losing. But all she does." He said to me, "All she does is lose matches." And I was like, "Well, she's not wrestling. She's just the heater at this point. She's just there to be a badass, and that's what she's doing. So as long as she's not wrestling, whatever she does in ROH or does elsewhere, it's not gonna matter because all she is right now is Jon Moxley's heater." So that within itself is something that people need to be able to compartmentalize.
It would be like I would feel like they should say something about like them not getting their just due or something like that, and that's why they felt like they, and they've worked in other places and felt like they had better opportunities or something, a reason or why did they connect. It just seemed like out of the blue they were just like, we should get together and kick butt.
Right, but I also feel like there's more to the story. All that stuff's going to be revealed eventually. So we'll see how that
I
goes.
think sometimes Tony slow walks things
Yeah.
to the point where we're like, duh. Just like for instance, and I love me some SRS, I really do. But when I got an email and it was like, MVP is all elite. Third, I saw him on the channel. We already had knew this. Why are we going through this? Why are we having this? And then when he kept saying the business, you don't want to get hurt. Biz, I'm like, okay, we already know. Thank you for telling us. Like, there's no, y'all should have showed up together instead of just showing up one to talk about the other ones that are coming. That irritates me when I see that, because it's like that. I understand that for me as a wrestling fan, and you could say we journalists or whatever you want to call us. There is a difference between us knowing ahead of time and then they just spoiling it for us in the get go. Like in the moment, me looking at it, I was like, yeah, I started her business during AEW. Just like this whole Shane taking a picture with the Young Bucks, and it's just like, oh, it could be just an overzealous fan side of. Listen, how many planes are they gonna get on together? How many airports are they gonna accidentally meet each other? This is not a coincidence.
Well, at the end of the day, I would say uh, to wrap up on the Dynamite stuff, or at least the Moxley stuff, or whatever the case is. I think there's more to come with that, right? So it's a wait and see approach. The AEW's always what the catch line at first was that they're there for long term storytelling. So for all intents and purposes, let's wait and see as what else it unveils throughout the next couple of weeks. I'm not one of those immediate gratification people, so I can care less. At the end of the day,
It's like it's the difference between walking me down to like, so even with this whole like Hangman situation.
What about it?
Okay, my thing about it is AEW, you schedule and you approve schedules for wrestlers.
Sure.
But you had Prince now not come out and say, hey, my boy Swerve, I don't know how he doing. And he all of this, and I was like, okay, storyline, I'm concerned. To wake up the next morning and see Swerve on the Breakfast Club. I was like, you couldn't wait a week or two? You couldn't put this interview? You couldn't do this storyline? What is up with this? And he was like, I'm fine, I'm doing great day, happy morning. I was like, what happened? I almost feel like, and I wonder if we have enough time to have a discussion. I watched that Vincent McMahon documentary and had many takeaways from that. Many takeaways. The first one is nobody but me immediately did math in my head when he said, I met Linda when I was 16 and she was 13. That's 3 years age difference. And I married her when she was 17.
Uh-huh.
And you was 20.
I didn't watch it, but
I watched it because I wanted to. I did get a different. How can I say different? I did now because I don't. Back in the day, I didn't pay attention to stuff, so I did get an understanding. He grew up poor for 12 years, just 12. He was abused as a kid. That's understandable. We knew about that. This whole thing when he did this Playboy interview and insinuated that his mother did incest on him. Like, okay, this is where the creep comes in. This is where I see the creep comes in. And then the man says, you know what? From my understanding, I feel like every day I got beat. As long as I had breath in my body, I won.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And then he kind of slowly, you see a light bulb comes on that he treated Shane the same way his dad treated him. He's like, when I met my dad, I went to give him a hug and he patted me on the head. And I was like, So your dad let you be poor and get beat and stuff, and all this stuff happened to you for 12 years, and then you meet him and find out that he has money, and then you go to live with him. And then his excuse was, J News, and this is the kicker, he wanted to date Linda because she was middle class, and that excited him. And she said she wanted to marry him because he was the bad boy in high school.
Interesting.
I was like, at a certain point, y'all seemed like y'all had a dysfunctional relationship from the start. His mama is the one who introduced them. And he admits he pushed Triple H to date Stephanie, and he wanted Stephanie to date Triple H. Because,
Wow.
as he said, Stephanie needed somebody good, and Triple H was my friend.
That's contrary to what stuff that had been reported out there for years and stuff like that, where the understanding always was that Vince didn't want his daughter dating wrestlers and stuff like that. But hey, man, if that was
Shane,
like I said, I didn't know.
that's the thing about it. Shane said in the documentary when he's like, well, Shane didn't like it. And then she said, yeah, Shane didn't like, he would be like, oh, yeah, you need to date somebody that's, nice and stuff like Triple H. And then Shane would say, but not Triple H, right? And then he was like, yeah, not Triple H. And he kept doing it so much. And then they got the storylines together. And Triple H is the one who came up with the storyline about putting something in her drink and getting married at the thing. And then he says, Stephanie had to put her foot down at our wedding because because Vince said, we should do this on pay-per-view. You should get married on pay-per-view. She said, no. He turns to her, J News, and says, how could you be so selfish? See why she don't like him. You see, and he does admit in the documentary, he did one time come up. You remember that legend story that he had a story one time that he was gonna, when she was pregnant, that he was gonna say he was his. He that storyline. It's a storyline. She was supposed to be pregnant, and then he was gonna do the running story on where mysteriously they're gonna say they accidentally thought it was his or whatever, and she shot it down.
Good for her. Good for her.
She said that she looks back now and realized some of the things that her dad had her do was a little outrageous. And then Shane was like, I went above and beyond to impress my dad. And it never did happen. And I felt bad. Shane is the only one who comes from this documentary. Shane and maybe Stephanie, a little bit of Triple H, because Triple H is like, what did I marry into? They come off okay. Was it Tony Atlas, something like that? He comes off as like, he's just like, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm gonna tell you what I say. Brett comes off normal. Hogan, horrible. He comes off horrible. You snitched on your friend about the union. You didn't turn around and say, what did he say? He insinuates that he says the government told him he had to snitch on Vince. So he took the plea deal and then got up there and said something different. They didn't know what he was going to say. He did say he had a handshake deal with Vince and told Vince when he left WWE, he would never work for another company ever again, and then went to work for WCW. I said, at this point, y'all all are a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And then when they ask him certain questions about Sable and suing him for $110 million, he goes, now remember, he remembers his childhood, he remembers details vividly. But when they ask him about Sable and the lawsuit, he's like, really? What? I can't quite remember. It's just all a blur. I said, sir, you don't get out of here with that. You made me sick at this point. You really made me sick at this point. You come off as bad, but Hogan somehow jumped ahead of him in the documentary to be the a-hole of the century. And this man got sued left, right, and center. It's like when he went through all the lawsuits outside of the lawsuits we found about the hush money,
Yeah.
he got sued by like Richard Belzer, other people. Was it Geraldo sued him? They talked about the other things that he had got sued for. The government. It's like, sir, when have you not been sued a day in your life? Wildlife Fund sued him. Everybody
Right.
sued him. It's like at a certain point, I think it's you, sir. I think it's you. But back to the normal, and I just want to give my comment, my little thing on that. We'll talk a little bit more about it on the wrestling podcast that I do. But I just like, those are my takeaways. And he felt comfortable in saying, I met her at 17. Sir, you 3 years older than that. Make it make sense. And she was just sitting out there, just plastic face and all, just happy. The fact that your husband sat on TV and he admitted in that Playboy interview, hey, Will Raleigh Sport one. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. That he had multiple affairs on her. And then when they asked him how, they're like, I know her feelings are hurt. I see how it hurts her feelings. And then he tells you on national TV in a documentary, he married you because you were middle class. And that excited him.
Different strokes for different folks, man. I'm not gonna sit here and absolve them of anything. Like I said, I didn't watch the documentary. I had no interest in watching the documentary. At the end of the day, yeah, I think that if
The man needs help. He needs help. He needs really bad help.
folks are interested in all that jazz, the documentary, the Mr. McMahon documentary is on Netflix,
Yes.
so they can catch it on there.
Yes. And they'll be coming, WWE Raw be coming to Netflix soon.
On
Well, maybe one
January.
thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Ring of Honor. Okay? And wholesome show with a lot of matches. It happened on the 26th, ladies and gentlemen. And the first match was Action Andrade with Leo Rush in his corner, defeating Tony Deppen. The Dog Order of Alex Reynolds and John Silver with Eva Uno in their corner defeated Iron Savages, Beefcake Boulder, and Jack Jameson with Bulk Bronson in their corner. Abaddon defeated LaVea. Uh, Brian Cage defeated Alex Price. Athena and Billy Starks defeated Christina Marie and LMK. Commander with Alex Abrahantes in their corner. In his corner, defeated Johnny TV. ROH Pro Title match. Lee Moriarty defeated Preston Vance. ROH 6-man tag match. Proving ground match was Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs of Marshall Von Erich and Ross Von Erich defeating the premier athletes of Ari Daivari, Josh Woods, and Tony Nese with Mark Sterling in their corner. J News, were you there for any of these matches?
No, this because this stuff was already pre-taped a couple of weeks prior. None of this stuff is from the ROH.
So you were for the one that's coming up next week,
Probably, or maybe even 2 weeks from now. So
yeah.
I don't know what the taping schedule is like for ROH.
Oh yeah, they normally do like a week or 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So yeah, as per like anything that's going on within ROH now, the only storylines that I'm caught on with are the lady storylines, like what's going on again with Billy and Athena, and their beef and Athena's lack of understanding of Billy Starks at this point and not wanting to believe her. There's also the feud that's stirring between Red Velvet and Diamante, so I want to see where that goes. They're putting a little bit more of a spotlight on Diamante, so we'll see how that boils over. And I know that Harley Cameron and Rachel Ellering have something bubbling, so that's interesting as well for me. Because the ladies, I think from an ROH perspective, the ladies have been holding it down. From the male end of things, it's like a hodgepodge of stuff or whatever. So I'm not necessarily invested in anything that's going on. In that regard, I haven't seen Lee Lee Moriarty, that is, who's the pure champion on RH TV for a bit. So I don't necessarily know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Uh, but ROH is ROH. ROH is basically taking the spot of AEW Dark and and that stuff that used to be on YouTube. So
Which is
it
a
is.
shame. It's really a shame that it has gotten to the hey Tony Hayes. Um, I wish it would do better. Another thing that I took away from the dark was talking about the WCW feud because Eric was in there, and that when Eric and them were signing people to these big money contracts and doing all these things, WWE was in a lull because they had been so high and then they crashed, and they kind of needed some competition. And the fact that they had so many people go over there and then people started to see how it was and they weren't happy and then they started to come back to WWE. It kind of reminded me of what's going on now. WWE was in a haze. AEW came along. It was a new hot ticket. Everybody wanted to jump over there. They getting these big contracts, these great schedules. That's what they talked about in WCW. And then all of a sudden, everybody decided at a certain point, like, this ain't what I wanted. This ain't what I needed. And they started to eventually go back. And so I don't want that for AEW. I want them to now this whole like thunder, shockwave, whatever they're doing, cut that. Can we just get ROH on a regular network? I don't want to keep doing this through the app.
I think that what it boils down to, and I agree with you. I feel like ROH should be on its own network and things of that nature. Um, the one thing that I've always knocked Tony Khan for is having ultimate control of the book. Like
Yes.
he does too much, um, and he needs to be able to give control to other people in order for the different brands to flourish and stuff like that. If he wants to be able to operate it that way. So, like for example, I remember a couple of months ago when Scott Demore was fired from TNA, and I was like, oh, he's perfect for ROH. Why not sign Scott Demore? Let Scott Demore run ROH and let him do his thing. Um, and that way, the ROH can just be a different brand altogether. It doesn't have to feel like Dynamite Light or a runoff of Collision and stuff like that. But he didn't decide to do that. He decided to double down, and he feels like his creative team um, is good enough. But at the end of the day, the creative team that he has, I feel, is just overworked because they're doing so much TV and so many shows, and there's so many wrestlers. It's like, yeah, if you're doing booking for Dynamite and Collision and Rampage and ROH, that's a bit much. You should have a team dedicated to each show, and
Well,
ultimately, because he gets the last word, it all becomes homogenous at the end of the day. It all feels the same. In certain.
TK, I think is I'm trying to word it because I'm on see on the wrestling podcast. I'll probably curse. Uh, and it's past time for me to curse too. I would say Tony. I understand that sometimes when you come off the ski slope, okay, you might have the energy to do all this stuff, okay, but don't mean you should, okay. Let it go, let it go. TK, I would say that is somewhat true. Vince is like, you can't touch nothing, you can't do nothing without going through me. I got the vision. This is me, 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 me. And TK is turned into that. But let something go wrong. He don't know nothing about it. He ain't got no hands on it. He like that whole like explosion incident. It was the people. If something is booked wrong, I took advice from somebody. It's like, but everything that goes right seems to be you until it goes wrong and then somebody's up. I need you to just let somebody else have control. He said Tony needs to cut down on the Colombian marching powder. Listen, I said I call it, skiing the slopes. Sometimes, listen, Tony likes to party hard. He likes to party all the time, as Eddie Murphy said.
I just my stance on it is that for all intents and purposes, grateful for Tony Khan for there to be even able to be an AEW fan.
Alternative.
But at the end of the day, things can be broken down in a way where it's like, yeah, you're still the owner of this, the macro of what is AEW ROH, but just delegate, dude. That's all it is. That's what any great CEO
But you
manager
have
type
to
do.
remember, he is running all these companies in AEW. He's also a part of the soccer team. He's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
a part of the football team. You have your hands in every pot there is. So you let something go. And then you're adding another show on top of it. That's why I'm saying, like, I think that's the problem right there. But on to another Tony Khan show. All Elite Wrestling's Rampage happens on the 27th. These are the matches scrolling across the bottom. House of Black, Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black defeated Action Andrade and Leo Rush. Anna Jay defeated Robin Renegade. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Angelico. The acclaimed Anthony Bones and Max Caster defeated Ryan Clancy and TJ Crawford. And the last match of the night, Willow Nightingale defeated Tyra Valkyrie. I'm not necessarily, if you all have gotten to know me, a Willow fan. I know that's a shocker. But to me, um, I was waiting on her to have like a heel turn, to get angry, to get upset, to get something. She I'm into uh the oh well, happy birthday. I just got that when I read it again. Happy birthday. Uh she's too happy. Like, she's never like, and then she does this thing when she's like, and then but she's still super happy. And she's been happy. And like I've said before, since Glow, not Glow, Wow Women's of Wrestling. She has been happy. Her character has been that ever since then. I want to see an angry side to her. That's all I need. One good time, evil Willow.
Uh, yeah, no, I'm not gonna rock with you on that one.
Come on, J News. She been nice the whole time. Everybody has turned heel once. She has
No,
just,
that's not true. Not everybody's turned heel once.
she's,
That's not true. That's
listen.
not true. Look,
What's it?
at the end of the day,
Anna J
what
has
people,
been heel.
huh?
Uh,
Who?
Tony Storm, Anna J has been healed. Tony Storm has been healed. Mariah May now has been healed. Sriracha, she was
Right.
good this term, be healed.
Right.
Mercedes Monet, they thought she was gonna be good, but she's just always been healed.
Mhm.
Who else? Even what's her name?
Who?
When it comes out with the kendo stick?
Hikaru Shida?
Yes, she's turned heel one time. Done it except for her. She's been happy the whole time.
Yeah,
I
because it's
thought she was
necessary. Because you just pointed out exactly my point. Everyone wants to turn heel because it's the easier thing to do. It's the
but
easier thing to do in
But as a
professional wrestling.
wrestling fan who has been watching her for years now, that has been her character the entire time.
And
I
she
see her.
keeps on giving us banger match after banger match. She's more hardcore than some of the heels on that roster, who are women and or men.
Can we
So
get a Mick
keep
Foley at least?
smiling, girl. Keep
Can we
doing
get
your thing.
can we
Keep
get a Mick
being
Foley
happy.
at least? Can we get
Huh?
a Mick Foley at least? You remember when Mick Foley used to switch characters when he was happy going to the ring and he was sad and depressed coming out? I need something. Something, J News.
Nah. She can be happy and be hardcore, and that's Willow. I love Willow, man. I love Willow. But to talk about Rampage for a minute, though, I like that Tony Khan. This is one thing that I love about Tony Khan. He lets his wrestlers experiment until they find something that works. And I mentioned that to the effect of the boys from Top Flight and Leo Rush. Him having them come out there every week trying to find something that works. They ditched the freaking the aviator uniforms and stuff like that, which I thought was a little hokey and things of that nature. They centered themselves more around the culture, so they put on some flight jackets this week, which I appreciated and things of that nature. So I appreciated that. They just need to find the sense of character, and I feel like Action Andretti is doing that, and he's forcing the hand. So I like what Action's doing. Leo plays off the Action very well. So we'll see how that works out. They're still trying to find their groove, but I appreciate that. The same thing with Private Party. Private Party's now trying to find their groove along with Commander and stuff like that. But Tony's letting them work things out.
It's good to let people cook like that. And sometimes we'll talk about it when we get to Collision. Sometimes
so at the end, so Tony Hayes dropped the comment. He was like, or he can hire writers and producers who can figure that shit out faster than the wrestlers. I'd rather not, because he's not the AEW's not the WWE, and they don't have to hire writers.
He's tried that with Mercedes. And every time we see Mercedes come out there, we like,
it's cringe half the damn time because she's out there reciting lines and shit. Like, no, thank you. Like, find it. I understand AEW to be the alternative, so I don't need writers. I don't need a writer's room to be giving these kids.
Some people need a writer. She needs a better writer, but some people need a writer. Saraya, Wardlow. I can give you a whole list of people who need.
No doubt. But at the end of the day, it's not like we people who are AEW fans know this. So it's like, I don't care if the development happens on screen, but once they find it, it's like you were there from the jump. You understood what they went through, all the slop that they were given, all the shit, all the cringe stuff that they went through to find their niche and their characters, and then they went from there. I don't need another wrestling company with a bunch of freaking writers in a writer's room. I don't need that. We have that already. I don't need that. We already have that shit. You want to watch that product?
It's not even writers in a writer's room. He needs assistance. He's trying to do this himself.
Most people need assistance, which is why Tony Khan hires all those elder statesmen in wrestling.
He doesn't listen though.
What happened?
The buck stops as long as even with Vince hires writers and stuff.
Right.
But the buck stops with him.
With Vince. Right.
So if you can have the greatest storyline ever, but if Vince sees it and he doesn't like it, it doesn't. Listen, when it comes to not making sense, I've kind of gotten used to that. Even with WWE, they do stuff that don't make sense.
Yes, yeah.
Sometimes
everybody does it.
Sometimes I'm like, well, why are we doing this? I can't understand this. It's like it feel like Swerve and Hangman, quote unquote, was supposed to. It seemed like Tony kind of trying to wrap it up in that little ending that we had, but that's not it. You cannot put a syringe in my mouth and this is the end of the story, because we supposed to be like real life. In real life, it's like on site. Every time I see you, to somebody gets the good of somebody else, until you realize I have whooped you enough, so this is gonna be over with. But instead, in Tony's world, it's like we had a big ending. This is it. And I'm like,
they're gonna come back to it at the end of the day. They'll come back to it.
You don't want to run it into the ground. You don't want to run it into where for me it was like yay in the moment afterwards, because I was like, also we had a man get a bag over the head in the same show. I mean, like, one good pop would have did. I didn't need to. So, and then he comes back to work. Like, they made it sound like that man had been unalive, and only for him to come back and be like, I'm great, I'm wrestling. Like, even the Grand Slam, it was like the whole would he, would not, but you're promoting the match, so I know it's gonna happen. And I think most people with common sense was gonna happen. Just like I mentioned earlier, the Hurt Business thing. We know they coming. You didn't have to say 99 times in the promo that it was real janky on MVP's part. That business, he got a business. I don't like your business. This gonna hurt. Like we don't have to keep doing that. We don't have to keep hinting at something we already know.
At the
Because
end of the day,
you presented your company as for people who the smart marks out here. You know what I'm saying? Who know what the deal is, and I'm not gonna play on your intelligence. Yet sometimes you play on our intelligence, and I know better. And it's not just me. My little nephew, who is 7 years old, sometimes be like, "Oh yeah, so her business coming." Come on now, we not slow.
yeah, they're gonna do it on their own time. So that's really what it is. They're gonna do it on their own time.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible.
I ain't talking about that shit.
I
And
I covered it. That was horrible. That was on a whole new level of horrible. And I
but
saw that. That's what made me really realize NWA ain't for me. They don't like me. They don't like
no,
me. They don't like me.
it hasn't been what it used to be during the pandemic era. But I would say,
They don't like me. Look at that. They don't like me.
yeah, if you want to put it that way, I guess. But to wrap up on the Rampage stuff, I thought that Anna Jay's comeback match was strong. It really did look like she learned a lot when she went to Japan. It was a much more fluid match. She was hitting the ropes in a much different way than she used to before. She was putting moves and combinations that I had never seen her do before. Big props to Robin Renegade for even getting that done with Anna Jay. So props to Anna Jay there. I want to see more House of Black. I've always wanted to see more House of Black. I love those dudes. They're a very creative bunch. They're very good wrestlers as individuals and as a team. So more House of Black. They're doing stuff with the Righteous at this point, which I like as well. So they're another mini faction now. Now with the addition of Lance Archer. So there's that portion of it. So I think that from a Rampage standpoint, it was a solid show, as solid as Rampage can be.
I would say the reason why we're not getting really House of Black that much is because two of them don't want to be there no more.
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
And they know, and they could see by what has happened with Penta and them. Just ride your contract out and then just leave. You just ride your contract out and just leave.
It's. I feel like all of that stuff, the dirt sheet stuff. It's a lot of it is misinformation. I feel.
I noticed when he first went to as following them, and I like to follow wrestlers who I like outside of their wrestling character. When he first got to AEW, him and Zelina never really did any kind of videos, anything, even on their downtime. She might do a video, but you might see him passing in the back. He wasn't actively in the videos.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, around the time the thing about him wanting to be, him and Buddy wanted to go back to WWE, Buddy and Rhea became more visible online. Zelina and him, Malachi, became more visible online. But like now, he's doing challenges where they're talking about their relationship and who asked who wanted to date first or who said I love you first. He is very into the social media scene with her now. Whereas before it was with two separate people. They cuddle up on the couch, they're working together on their clothing brand. There's just a lot mingling together, whereas they would probably need to be together more often. Because now they see the potential of making money together as a couple. You see Bianca and Montez making money together. They got their own little show. They get brand deals together. You see the opportunity of if two stars get together, them making money together. So
I mean, if it's something that they want to do, then cool. I just don't, for all intents and purposes, it's okay to do your own separate thing, and they could come together now. And a lot of people, it's a lot of that narrative is coincidental as well, because a lot of to the point that you were saying about how Buddy and Rhea became more visible and Malachi and Zelina became more visible. They also became more visible during a time where Vince McMahon finally left the company and Triple H let the reins off, and these people now could do more social media things and it not be a problem for people from other companies to be on their social media accounts because
But
that
you
was
know,
all
even
around.
before then, they were doing stuff at first here and there, but not as much. Even when it comes to like when Britt and her ex used to be together, and he was in WWE and she was in AEW, they were very visible. They were very, very visible. No,
Uh,
start, start.
according to Matt Taven, Wardlow's currently hurt. He's got a knee injury.
Yeah,
Uh, Starks has some Ricky Starks. Have I seen Ricky lately? Only on social media. And what I know about Ricky Starks is that, at least from the way that people phrase it, at least the way Jade Cargill phrases it, that's her best friend. So she's seen Ricky lately, but AEW fans haven't seen Ricky lately. So I don't know what to tell you there.
you know who
How,
else has seen Ricky lately?
who?
Cody Rhodes has seen Ricky lately.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were in the
yeah,
elevator
yeah,
together.
yeah. They
They,
listen.
they,
And they
they
have
were
been
friends.
talking. They
They were
have been
friends.
talking that Cody has been talking to his friends over there to try to like, hey,
If it
come on
works
over.
out, it works out. As
Was
per
it
Hobbs
was
just
it
got
like Death
cleared.
Row?
Yeah, right. Hobbs just got cleared, so he should be back on TV soon. And Miro just asked for his release, so we'll see what Tony does with that. So at the end of the day, yeah,
I don't think Tony wants to let them go, and part of me is like, I understand the business side, but I also understand you stood there and be like, we're not like WWE. We're not gonna force nobody to stay, and they don't want to stay. And
nah.
then
When people ask for the release, like for if I were the one making the business decision, if somebody asks for the release, I'm giving it to them. Oh, you don't want to be here? That's cool. Business is business. Go find you. Go do it on your own. Whatever the case. You don't need to be here. Ain't no shade on my
Tony,
head.
I don't know where. Hold on, Jada. I don't know exactly where you're from. If you're from the States, if you're from another country, that sentence that you just put in the comments don't work, and I'm not even gonna put it up there. Okay, so you can just delete it. That'll be the greatest thing of all. Uh, on to the next thing, like J News.
Mhm.
It is AEW Collision,
Mhm.
and it happened on the 28th.
Yes.
Um, I'm gonna rant after this. We had Soraya's rules match.
Yes.
Jamie Hayter defeated Soraya with Harley Cameron in the corner. Six-man tag team tornado match. The Learning Tree, Big Bill, Brian Keith, and Chris Jericho. Lord have mercy. Defeated the conglomeration of Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy. Brody King defeated Action Andrade. AEW title match. Jack Perry defeated Minoru Suzuki by countout. AEW World's Trios title match. Blackpool Combat Club of Claudio Castagnoli and Willa Yuta, along with Pac, defeated the Commander Private Party of Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, along with Alex Abrahantes in their corner. Hologram defeated Jalistico and the Beast Mortis. In the Lumberjack match, Adam Page defeated Jeff Jarrett alongside Karen Jarrett. And for the AEW Continental title eliminator match, Kazuchika Okada, the champion, defeated Sammy Guevara. Were you there for these matches, J News?
I was there for all of these matches. The thing about it is that people will watch a TV show, but they won't know uh, these matches during the night as people saw them live did not uh, they weren't recorded in order at the end of the day. So that Minoru
Oh yeah,
Suzuki,
he does that a lot because
yeah,
even with the results, I had them pre already days ago, and when I put them into the thing, I had to go back today and realize that the order had changed.
yeah. So the Jack Perry versus Minoru Suzuki match took part during the 7 o'clock hour, right before Dynamite started, stuff like that. So it was an interesting bit. But for as per the collision is good for at least this week's episode of Collision was good for story beat follow up stuff. When you're at the live show, you don't get to watch the backstage interview stuff. So there were some backstage interviews that I didn't get to watch live on show that I caught later. That also followed up some story beat stuff. I want to say that the match of the overall collision for me was that lucha match with Hologram, the Beast Mordos, and Dralistico. It came off great live in person. So I wanted to mention that, aka Frank Mortos, Esquire. Shouts to Matt David. But what else happened during Collision? I took a piss break during the Jericho match. So
I can't stand Jericho. Jericho, listen, Anika on the other channel said, "Hey, I thought Ursh Cassidy had did his time in the Jericho verse and he had got out, but look like he has." I was like, no, no,
he ain't
no.
get out yet, unfortunately. But yeah, like there a lot of the fans went to the bathroom during the Jericho match. So that part of it. There, I
See,
like
I
the
think that's a part of the problem with Tony. He trusts
yeah, he
Jericho,
does.
and he feels like Jericho has great ideas.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
Listen, I
Um,
love my boy Cody, but at some point over there, I said, listen, I can't even put Tony, you getting real racist in this piece. Okay? That ain't gonna go there. Listen, I said to myself, Cody, we doing too much. Remember when we got to that racism ending racism program? I was like, Cody Luther King, if you don't stop, okay? Stop it. Stop it.
at the end of the day, you know, it, things need to be filtered a little bit better when it comes to certain things. But what else was there on the Collision taping that I can remember? The Saraya versus Jamie Hayter match came off well, live. So
Did
I
you
don't
see
know
it
how it
back
came off.
again?
I mean, on TV, I don't know how it came off, but live it came off well.
The match is okay. I'm just over Sriracha.
Hmm.
I'm over Sriracha at this point. I'm over Sriracha at this point. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, the next match up, the next company up is TNA. Uh, Total Nonstop Action. Ladies and gentlemen, it comes on its app. And no, it also comes on Access TV. Sorry,
Access TV. Yeah.
yeah, but some people watch through the app. Ladies and gentlemen, it was on the 26th, and these are the matches scrolling at the bottom. We had Jordan Grace and Sol Ruka, yes, from NXT, uh, versus Rosemary and Wendy Chu. It ended in a no contest. Jonathan Gresham defeated Laredo Kid. ABC, that's Ace Austin and Chris Bay, along with Zachary Wentz, defeated Kushida, Leon Slater, and Mike Bailey. I'm gonna let J News say this word. Ying, Li Ying, Li
Huh?
Ying Li, Li
Who?
Ying Li.
Oh no, that was the girl who used to be on NXT in the WWE.
Yeah, that's why I want to call her the other name, but I was like Li Ying Li
Yeah,
defeated.
Yingling. Yeah, Yingling.
Heather Reckless defeated Zaya Brookside, and TNA World Title #1 contendership match. I believe in Joe Hendry. He defeated Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah. So
That
now
was
he's got a shot at that TNA belt coming.
yes.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had MLW, and I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you can go back and watch this show because it was on YouTube. I also want to shout out, which I got to interview him because I've already asked him for another place I worked did. I got to have him on this show. Is Alex Kane? Listen, Alex Kane is fun, and he roasted the f out of Bobby Fish. So he was the least favorite out of the Undisputed Era. Taking shark teeth looking, but he went in on him. He went in on him. Go back and watch this on YouTube. I could not. Bobby Fish with Brett, Ryan Gosling, Brock Anderson, and C.W. Anderson defeated Kevin Knight, and that's when Alex Kane and the Boomaye Club came to help Kevin Knight and let him know that you can't fight this good fight against these people by yourself. Uh, MLW Women's World Featherweight Title Taekwondo rules match. Janai Kai, the champion, defeated EXO by referee's decision. That means she tried to take her head off. Barrio Brawl match. I know, can't even tell you after I saw it what it was. Matthew Justice with Bill Alfonso in his corner. Defeated Jesus Rodriguez. We had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus boxing match that was Danny versus Randall Royce. Then no contest. My favorite match of the night because it had Alex Kane in it. And Street Fight Alex Kane with Mr. Thomas defeated Brian Ryan Gosling. Uh, top tap first death match. We had Quan defeat Akira and a Valet Tudo rules match. Matt Riddle defeated Tom Lawler by referee's decision. So you can go back and watch that on the MLW YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is J News. Y'all come for the good stylings of J News. Here we go. Stardom. They had two regular shows on. The first on the 23rd, and the matches are rolling below.
Saya Leader defeated Rianne. Hate members Natsuko Tora and Rina Scott, along with Tai Kamatani, defeated Cosmic Angels. Aya Sakura, Sayuri Ano, and Sayaka Kurara. Mei Sarah defeated Haina, Empress Nexus Venus, Hanako, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Waka Tsukiyama, and Xena defeated Stars, Hanan, Hazuki, Kaguma, and Mayu Iwatani, along with Momo Kogo. The great team of Neo Genesis, Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Suzu Suzuki defeated the Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Yuna Mizumori. Then we had God's Eye, Lady C, and Rana Yagami, along with Saki Kashima and Suri, defeated Hate members Konami, Momo Watanabe, Ruaka, and Thekla.
Ladies and gentlemen, they also had a show on the 28th.
Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, Natsupoi, and Yuna Mizumari defeated Azusa Inaba and Hate members Konami and Rina. Hanako defeated Momo Kogo, God's Eye. Haina, Lady C, Rana Yagami, and Tomaka Inaba defeated Empress Nexus Venus, Maika, Wakasukiyama, and Xena, along with Rianne and Neo Genesis members Mei Sarah, Mayu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid, along with Suzu Suzuki. Cosmic Angels, we had Sayori Anu, Sayaka Kurara, and Tam Nakano defeating Hate members Natsuko Tora, Ruaka, and Saya Kamatani. We then had Stars members Kaguma and Saya Lida defeating the other Stars members Hanan and Hazuki, and then Mina Shirakawa and Tony Storm in their tag match defeated Azumi and Maya Iwatani. And then Goddesses of Stardom title match, we had Hate members Momo Watanabe and Thekla, who are the champions, retaining by defeating God's Eyes, Saki Kashima, and Sayuri.
Thank you, J News. See, J News he be on it. He be on it. Let's see, Delores would have been stumbling and fumbling. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna review J News with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Road to Destruction. We have the dates on the 23rd. So we had Taguchi Tiger Mask defeated Daiki Nagai and Masatori Yasuda, who are the Young Lions currently. We then had Francesco Akira defeating Katsuya Murashima. Shota Umino and Tomoaki Hamba defeated Jado and Shomakato. House of Torture member Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated Just Five Guys, member Doki and Takumi Shinoku. Bebop Tag Team, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano, along with Oleg Bolton, defeated House of Torture members Dick Togo, Evil, and Yujiro Takahashi. Just Five Guys, Sanada and Tai Chi defeated TMDK members Kosei Fujita and Zack Sabre Jr. We had Chaos members Roki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi defeated Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji defeating United Empire members Callum Newman, Great Khan, Hanare, Jacob Austin Young, and Jeff Cobb. On the 29th, we had New Japan Destruction in Kobe 2024. First matchup was the tag match. Dragon Dia, Taguchi, and Shota Umino defeated Tiger Mask, Tomoaki Hanma, and Yuji Nagata. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Yota Tsuji defeated United Empire's Callum Newman, Francesco Akira, and Jeff Cobb. In a non-title match, Gabe Kidd and Hiroki Goto first ended that match in a double countout, and then Gabe Kidd had the referee restart the match as no disqualification match, where Hiroki Goto got the pin on Gabe Kidd to win that match. Then TMDK's new trio, Kosei Fujita, Zack Sabre Jr., and the returning Ryohei Oiwa defeated Just Five Guys, Sanada, Taichi, and Taka Michinoku. We then had the never open weight 6-man tag team match. Hiroshi Tanahashi, along with Oleg Bolton and Toru Yano, defeating the House of Torture members Evil Show and Yujiro Takahashi. IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, folks. If you want a match to go back and watch out of this Destruction at Kobe match, this is one of the ones. Doki, in probably his best match in New Japan Pro Wrestling ever, defeated the heel master, formerly known as Uncle Nobu, defeated Yoshinobu Kanemaru. The never open weight title match, another banger. Shingo Takagi defeated the champion at the time, Hanare. There was a title change. Shingo Takagi regains the never open weight title. I thought that was a short reign for Hanare. I'll mention that. I thought the reign was going to go longer. We then had the IWGP Global Heavyweight title match, which saw David Finlay defeat Yoshihashi. And then in the IWGP World Heavyweight title match, it was Tetsuya Naito defeating the Great Okan.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the good stylings of J News. Now we're on to Pro Wrestling Noah.
Sunny Boys 2024, continuing on. We had this on the 23rd. It was Yoshitatsu, the vet, defeating Taiki Odashima. Junta Miyawaki defeated Tadasuke and Yu Owada. Kai Fujimura and Mohamed Yone defeated Amakusa and Super Crazy. Iata and Oka Sasaki defeated Los Golpeadores, Alpha Wolf, and Dragon Main. Yohei defeated Hajime Ohara. Atsuji Kotoge versus Hayato ended up in a no contest. Galino del Mal and Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., along with Masa Kitamiya, Naomichi Marufuji, Takashi Segura defeated All Rebellion, Alejandro, Kaito Kiyomiya, and Keno. Limit Break EX. We had Hajime Ohara defeating Yuya Kuraku, one of their new young lions. Burning Tetsuya Endo and Yuki Lino defeating Kai Fujimura and Kohei Konishida. Best of 2 or 3 falls, 8-man tag match. We had Akitoshi Saito, Atsushi Kotoge, Go Shiozaki, and Muhammad Yone defeating Harutoki, Jun Akiyama, Tomomitsu Matsunaga, and Yukio Naya. Harutoki pins Go Shiozaki pins Harutoki, and Akitoshi Saito pins Tomomitsu Matsunaga. We then go on to Merit Gold Wrestling the Dreamstar Grand Prix. We had the Grand Prix matches. Misa Matsui defeated Kazuna Tanaka. Bozilla got another win by defeating Shiaki. Nene Takahashi versus Suri ended in a time limit draw. Nagisa Nozaki defeated Victoria Yuzuki. Natsumi Shozuki defeated Mirai. Chikagoto defeated Koki Amare. Mai Sakurai defeated Miku A. Ono in a time. She didn't defeat it, but it was a time limit draw. And then we had the main event on the 20th, which was Utami Hayashida defeating Nori.
Okay, so I see what the thing is. I made this template for these things, but this is on the 23rd, and then the next one will be on the 28th.
Okay. So on the 28th, which was the night of the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We had where is this? Grace defeated Komomo Minami and Nao Ishikawa. The Grand Prix matches had Natsumi Shozuki defeating Chikagoto. Victoria Yuzuki defeated Nori. Mirai versus Nagisa Nozaki ended up in a double countout. And then we had Utami Hayashishita defeating Kyoki Amare, where Utami Hayashishita ended up winning the Grand Prix on this night. Either it was this night or the night after, because I saw her win the trophy. But anyway,
it was this night. What it is that she had to do the final part of the match, and then she wrestled again at the end of the match.
oh, they made her wrestle twice. My bad. I'm sorry about that. Kazuna Tanaka defeated Shiaki. Mei Sakurai defeated Misa Mitsui. Michael A. Ono and Nene Takahashi went to a time limit draw. Bozilla defeated Suri. So to mention that, because Bozilla got a pin over Suri, Suri then, after the event was over, went to the board over at Marigold and issued a challenge to Bozilla for the Marigold Championship. So we're going to see a match in the future between Suri and Bozilla for the championship. And then we had the Dreamstar Grand Prix final match, which was Utami Hayashishita defeating Mei Sakurai, which is where Utami ended up hoisting the first ever Grand Prix trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the previews, and I get to start off with WWE, ladies and gentlemen, on the 5th, which is, I think, next Saturday. We have WWE Bad Blood. Yes. And it's going to be here. Where? In Georgia. ATLANTA. That's where I stay. Zone 6. Yeah. Listen. WWE on the 5th, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have the women's world title match. Liv Morgan, the champion, fighting against Rhea Ripley. Who do you pick, J News, out of that?
I don't think there's going to be a clean winner in this match. There's going to be more shenanigans to happen here. If anything, Liv retains, but she doesn't retain. She doesn't beat Rhea cleanly.
Yes. Hell in a Cell match. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre.
I don't know. I haven't been interested in this storyline, if I'm being honest. If anything, I guess this would be Drew's win.
I would say Punk.
That's my guess.
Didn't Drew beat him twice already?
Did he?
Then,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If Drew beat him twice, then this would be Punk's win.
No, Punk beat him, I think, twice out of the 3 times or whatever like that.
All right. So yeah.
The women's world title match, Nia Jax versus Bayley.
I think that this ends up being where Bayley beats Nia, but Tiffy cashes in on Bayley. Yeah. This is what I think ends up what it ends up being.
Finn Balor versus Damian Priest.
If this is just a plain one-on-one match, this doesn't end the feud either. I would say Finn Balor for the win.
Me too. I got Finn Balor. We already know who I got on this. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa.
The Bloodline wins.
Oh, so you gonna do me like that? And for the fact that you do me like that, J News, I'm gonna say, here I am, all alone.
The Bloodline wins.
Boo, J News, y'all. Y'all gonna let J News do me like that? He did me like that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna talk about HOG and their pay-per-view coming up on the 29th, which is happening right now, or about to be up. It is Believe in the Glory, okay? HOG women's title match, Megan Bain, the champion versus Lena Cross. HOG cruiserweight title match, Gringo Loco, the champion versus Fuego del Sol. Then you have the HOG tag team title match, the Cold-Blooded Killers, Nolo Catano and Raheem Royal, the champions versus Miracle Generation and Dustin Waller and Kylan King. HOG Crown Jewel title match is Zilla Fatu, the champion, versus Idris Jackson. Joey Janela versus Joe Hendry. For the HOG heavyweight title match, Mike Santana, and we don't know who he's going to face right now. But right now, he's fighting somebody. I can tell you that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a multi-show that's coming up. It'll be Progress, Pro Wrestling Noah, and Defy coming together for their show. Okay? They'll have a non-title match. This is J News right here. This is straight J News.
It's got Naomichi Marufuji versus Alex Tishner. Uh, yes, we'll talk about him in a bit. Kara Noir versus Taishi Ozawa. Gringo Loco versus Kid Lycos II. Arez and Latigo versus Kid Lycos versus Man Like the Reese. Progress women's title match. It'll be Riho versus Stephanie Mays. We'll have the Progress World title match, which is the champion, Luke Jacobs, versus the one and only Timothy Thatcher.
I would like to point out the Riho that J News is talking about. If you're a wrestling fan, it's not the Riho from AEW. It's the African American one with the purple hair. Okay.
Yeah, there's 4 different Rihos in pro wrestling.
Yes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, New Japan Pro Wrestling has a show. None of the matches are listed at this point. It is the Road to King of Pro Wrestling 2024 show. And as you see, it will be on 10/5. Okay?
Saturday.
So that is the end of this. Now it's time for good brother J News to step out the box and not only tell you about himself, but tell you about his spotlight of the week.
So I chose this spotlight to spotlight a specific professional wrestler. We're going to do this every week. Delores and I will 1 week we'll do our own spotlight. So this week is my turn. Next week will be Dolores' turn. This week I came to the decision to spotlight UK indie wrestler, former Progress heavyweight champion Kara Noir. The reason as to why I chose Kara Noir to be spotlighted was because he made his in-ring return to wrestling action for the first time in over 2 years last weekend, back at the Electric Ballroom. And when he was on his rise during the pandemic wrestling era, a little bit after that and stuff like that, he was very much talked about. He was very sought after in the UK indie scene, because of not only because of his characterization, as you can see here, face paint and everything else between, but he is a terrific professional wrestler, and he is quite the character at that. He is a great showman. He is also a tremendous mat technician, and I think more people should be looking out for Kara Noir. So if you have time to check out Progress Wrestling, Kara Noir is back. Thankfully, he was able to recover from the injury sustained to his foot and his ankle, which kept him out for that long of a period of time. And I just wanted to spotlight him so that folks know that he's back on track and back to trying to make a name for himself in the pro wrestling scene over in the UK. And hopefully he'll be able to make some dates here in the United States within the year of 2024, or at least in the upcoming year of 2025, so that folks can get acquainted with his stylings and wrestling ability.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you ain't already got over there with J News, link at the top of the chat, make sure you get over there, because if you're not, I'm just going to say you like being lame. Lame. Okay? So get in with the cool kids and get down with J News.
Yeah, man. The podcast should be up in the month of October. It's been a rough month of September for me and stuff like that, but and I keep saying it and I keep freaking putting it on the back burner, but no more back burner talk. You'll see me come up with more movie reviews, maybe some lives on some movie review stuff as well, but I'll be continuing to write my written reviews on Letterboxd. You can check me out at John LYFNMG on the YouTube space, on Instagram, and on Twitter/X. And yeah. I'm a movie review guy. I also like to post a lot about different. I post a lot of different trailers on my Twitter account / X account for movies that people might not be too aware of, because people are always going to be aware of all the big blockbuster stuff. So I try to put other lesser known movies on the radar of folks. So stay tuned to my Twitter / X account for that type of content as well. So as I always say, I like to thank the Lords for giving me the time to plug my stuff in that way. So look forward to that. Some reviews coming to you guys sometime this week.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good job, J News. Good job. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you have been with us today. Thank you. This second episode. Yay! We made it. We'll be going live. I think me and J News will go live both on our channels, so be expecting to see us every week. Right now we'll be on this platform to about the 24th, and then we'll switch over to our new platform. So you'll see new gadgets and widgets and things. So good evening, Gianna Forever, if I pronounced that right. Let me know if I did. So you'll get to know us more, get to know J News. You'll get to see me more. Again, ladies and gentlemen, uh, I will start doing some. Thank you. Yes, Gianna. Most people don't know, I do uh, produce on a lot of other channels. So I'm trying to focus on me, trying to make sure J News gets his stuff going so we can rattle it together. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're gonna go through some things. First of all, thank you. It's your girl Delores, just a pink girl in her pink world, here on YouTube. Yes, I am. Uh, Make sure you scan that QR code and you can get to me, my link trees, my Discords, my Twitch, my Twitters, all the things are the things that you need to find out where I'm at. That is me. And you are here on my YouTube. So thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Make sure you go check out J News. And you can check out J News on his QR code to his link tree up above. Make sure you just open your camera, put it closed. You might need to back it up a little bit. Will do it. If you are on your phone and in the chat right now, make sure you click the link to go straight over to J News channel. And I think his link tree is in the bio, right?
I believe so.
Yes. And so you can click that and find all the things where you can find J News. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with us at the Hit the Ropes podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, you got to be here or be square. Listen, you're going to be a lame if you don't go check out J News. You're going to be a mark if you don't come over here and check out our weekly show. Listen, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most of a good time where you get to learn new and upcoming shows and wrestlers, and you get to find out what happened during the week. Because not everybody has time to watch everything. I know I do it, and it's a lot. Okay? Because I'm up every day and every night. So make sure you hear with the Hit the Ropes podcast. But like I always say, when it's getting hot in here, and we've burnt this thing apart going through WWE to MLW to Stardom to Marigold to New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know what we got to do when it get hot like this? As my mama say back in the day, cut them lights out. Listen, it's time to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And we so much appreciate you. Remember, today is the start of the spotlight. Cara Norar. Did I pronounce that right, J News?
War, that's right.
Norar. Yes, it's our spotlight this week. Next week, I will be picking. So you never know. You never know. You have to stay tuned to see who will be the spotlight of the week. And until then, we would like to say peace. Wait a minute. He said we're going to take a short break. No, we're going to